Hey guys, what's up? As promised, I'm showing you my new bus, my permanent bus, unless told otherwise. So we're gonna start it up. I did run it out of air for mainly security reasons, so we're gonna let it build up. We're gonna get some air conditioning blowing right in my face because it is hot in here. High 68. Alright, we're good. I'm not going to do an air brake test because I am on a slope here. But this does have the same configuration as our other 2024 on the lot. Only difference is this one, I mean, it has LED headlights, but they are retrofitted into the stock halogen headlight housing. Whereas the other bus has a different light housing altogether, like with LEDs, including LED turn signals. This one does not have LED turn signals. Alright, there we go. Peace and quiet. So yep, it's got your typical air conditioning, no automatic for the driver. Same deal with the passengers as well. No automatic setting. Our older GM40s have the automatic setting. Looking throughout the bus. One complaint I have is, as much as I like the look of the fake carbon fiber, these are cheap plastic pieces. See, look at this. This is already cracked and it's a 2024. It's because people are mishandling heavy stuff, breaking our handles off the seats. I mean, look at that. Broke clean off the seat. The older GM40s were a little bit more vandal resistant. There were no grab handles on the seats, for one, and these were not carbon fiber, they were wood. I'm not sure what Gretsch is going to do when the... I'm not sure what Gretsch is going to do when they decide to do something with the new style M2. Currently, I have not seen that generation M2 in a bus. It's only been the old M2, which is being phased out, and then this S2C, which basically it's a Thomas C2 because a lot of the layout is exactly the same as a Thomas C2. It's got a parking brake interlock, and if you don't have your foot on the brake, it won't go into gear, whereas in the M2 it will. So that's interesting. The only thing broken on it right now is this. Yep, emergency door release cable is broken. See, I pulled the latch. The door is not releasing. So I have reported it, and it will get fixed. The cable's on order for it. The only other thing that's wrong with it is my blue lights right here, all the way to the back on the left, don't work. The right side blue lights still work. So I am a bit disappointed those are already broken, but it is what it is. I mean, it could be worse. It could be the bus from hell. There's actually a handful of these that are not in good condition, like that one. Looks like it's about to go. Man, that is just heartbreaking on a 2024. And look at that one. Man. And that one. See what I was saying about these buses not being vandal resistant? Weird. The AC, it does work well, but it doesn't blow as strong as the older GM40s. But that's not a big deal unless it's like 100 degrees outside, which we don't have too many days like that, thankfully. One emergency roof hatch, just like you'd find in a school bus. And then we have 4 emergency exit windows on each side. So that's a grand total of 8. But I will give it some credit. The seats are very comfortable, very luxurious. I can still take a nap on this back row if I want to, which I like, because a lot of times I'm working long hours and I need to relax in between. Another thing that's different is power outlets, USB ports are now in between seats as opposed to mounted on the wall. So that's interesting. One other thing I've noticed, and I'm not sure if this is the same with the other 2024 on the lot, it probably is whenever this bus has gone into a regen while driving, every time I slow down to below 5 miles an hour, it inhibits the regen until you get back up to 40 miles an hour. Now, the older buses, the bus would keep regenning if it's already started while you were driving, even if you came to a stop. And you would know that because the hot exhaust light would stay on. Because with Cummins, basically that light comes on whenever it is regenning, whether it's driving or parked, and you're doing a force regen, for example. But yeah, in this bus, basically you see that light flash for 1 second and then it goes out, indicating that the regen has been temporarily inhibited or suspended. So hopefully we can get that reprogrammed in the near future. That way we don't have DPF blockage. It's unlikely since it's a new bus, and newer buses don't produce as much soot as the older ones do. They have a better way of managing that. But obviously some bus drivers that are idiots will idle forever, especially if they don't like using the fast idle or they are too lazy to. Then that's when it could really become a problem. Because slow idling produces more soot than at fast idle. Not only that, but it's not good on the SCR. So you could do a number on your after treatment system just by slow idling all the time. Basically, like I've said before in videos, you should use your fast idle anytime you are leaving the bus running, like I am now. The only times you don't are if you're turning the bus off, because if you're turning it off at fast idle, it's going to put a lot of stress on engine components, cause premature wear, and that's not a good day. The other situation where you want to slow idle is if your bus is asking for a forced regen, because the forced regen will not initiate if you're in fast idle. That's an inhibiting condition. So in order to do a forced regen, slow idle, neutral, parking brake, and depending on the vehicle, you may have to turn your AC off. I know in our coach buses, the J4500s, you don't have to do that. But you do have to cycle the brake, put it in gear, put it back in neutral, and then set the parking brake before it'll let you initiate a forced regen. So yeah. But enough about that. This also does have a service door alarm. Let's go ahead and open the door. Basically, anytime you release the parking brake while the service door is open, that alarm sounds to let you know you have released the parking brake with the service door still open. It also serves as a warning to anyone outside or inside the bus that the door is closing. Alright, this button here, hang on, let me get that fast idle back on. This basically allows the bus to crouch down from the rear. Now, what I don't like about this is sometimes it doesn't work, and this light flashes and it just makes like hissing sounds, like pss, 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 pss. So it's a little buggy, but most of the time it does what it needs to. Our other 2024, this doesn't really work at all. Like anytime you try to lower it, it just goes right back up. So I don't bother with it in that bus because it needs to be fixed. But yeah, basically, the cool thing about this is if you drive off with this down, it will automatically raise back up if you go over 5 miles an hour. And if you're driving and you hit this, it inhibits the lowering, and this flashes for 10 seconds and then goes out. But one disadvantage of this being an electronic switch, besides the bugginess, is if you turn the bus off, it automatically raises back up. And I like to keep the bus down when I'm parked. So the only way to do that is to pump the brakes down, because if it doesn't have enough air in the system, it's not going to air up the suspension. So what I do is I push the park brake, key on, engine off, push this, pump down the brakes until this pops out, and then you're good to go. As in, the bus will stay down, but you have to air your bus back up the next time you start it. Trying to think of anything else I want to show you guys. It does have traction control, just like the other one. Exact same switch layout. And, you know, like I mentioned before, this is a lot like a Thomas C2. Excellent turning radius. The switch positions are exactly the same as a Thomas C2. The shift inhibitor, same deal. And then you'll notice the forced regen switch does not say regen on it. It just has a pilot light instead. The M2s, it does not have a pilot light, so the only way you'll know if you're doing a forced regen is if that pod exhaust light is on and it's ramped up to 1,000 RPMs or so. This was built in South Carolina. Of course, Thomas Built Buses is located in North Carolina, and this is obviously not a Thomas bus, it's a Freightliner S2C, but it is heavily based on the Thomas C2, just not a school bus, obviously. It does have speakers all the way back, that's pretty much unchanged. One thing I wish these buses had was a toilet, because us bus drivers, if we don't have a toilet in the bus, we're always looking for somewhere to use the bathroom. So, can be a challenge, but for the most time, I've been able to find a toilet no problem. So, not too big a deal, but it could also be a hassle for the passengers if they need to use the toilet too. Because our coach buses do have toilets, and we have one 2017 that had a toilet, but somebody messed it up and it was declared a biohazard, so our technicians shut off the door to it. So that's what I've heard from coworkers anyway. I'm not going to get too into that because I don't want this video to be about toilets. I want it to be about buses. Here's the service cabinet. It takes the CH751 key. If I can get it in there right. I actually never showed this on camera before. Here's your video and sound input, your ignition, interior light timer, auxiliary lights, which are your blue lights, TV monitors, reading lights, entry lights, heater pump, and AC compressors, and then various fuses. And then that is the power source for the air conditioning right there. Some pretty cool stuff in there, if I do say so myself, but definitely not something you want to go messing around with, unless, of course, you need to shut something off for whatever reason if it's an emergency. But yeah, I just thought I would show you guys what's in there, just if you were curious. We have our first aid kit, trash bags, paper towels. That's pretty much going to do it for this video. Oh yeah, we have our warning triangles and fire extinguisher. But yeah, I do hope you have enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more, and peace out till next time.